Welcome to another episode of the Spoon Train Podcast, your home for all things personal development. Today is a special episode because this is one of the few times I get to host my guest live in my house. I have the talk of the hypnotic world. He's already a superstar, but a future even bigger superstar, Zach Pincince. Okay. Welcome to the Spoon Train Podcast, buddy. How are you?
Doing amazing. Happy to be here.
Yeah,
awesome.
I'm super stoked to have you here. So Zach is an amazing street hypnotist, stage hypnotist. Him and I did our certification training together only a year and a half ago. And to see the things that you've done in that time have been amazing. So we were going to do this podcast a couple days ago, and I'm so glad we didn't because I got a chance to go see your show between then and now.
See you in person.
And it was mind-blowing. Your creativity, your skills were just mind-blowing. So I want to congratulate you.
Thanks, buddy.
And I know you're going to be on the biggest stages in Vegas and everywhere you go. So it's very soon, very soon. So Zach, let's talk about what got you into hypnosis. Now, for our listeners, this isn't going to be like a straight hypnotist show. We're not just talking about hypnosis techniques. We're talking about you because your rise and what you've done has been so inspirational to everybody around you. So what got you into hypnosis?
That's such a big question. I mean, I could talk about this. The whole podcast could just be that story. But generally speaking, so I got into doing magic initially. So I just taught myself sleight of hand and card tricks for fun.
Yeah.
Learning off of YouTube because that was the one resource that I had, just learning for free because it was a hobby. And the more I got into it, the more I just loved it and got passionate about performing and entertaining. So started doing more types of performing. Started doing some street magic, started doing stand-up comedy, improv comedy. There we go. Look at that comedy right there, right? Can't even speak. Public speaker. I speak for a living, but it's all good. Get the idea, right? But then I started getting into hypnosis because I thought, hey, there's some other magicians that do hypnosis. I always said it was the coolest thing ever. And so, hey, if I can learn magic, then I could learn hypnosis. I'm not sure if I should be looking at you.
You can look anywhere you want. So
right?
if you're listening on the podcast, Zach and I have our green screen going here.
Yeah.
And we're kind of looking at each other and looking between the screens. So,
all right. But anyways, got into doing hypnosis, and then that was when I really stuck. Did magic, it was great. Did comedy, it was great. But hypnosis was really fun. It was really cool.
Yeah.
And after a few months, I was already beyond where I was at after like 2 years doing magic. So I thought, you know what? If I can get to this level already, why not take this seriously? And that's where it was my last semester of college anyways. And I didn't have a direct trajectory as a communication major. So I said, you know what? I'm going to be a professional hypnotist when I graduate.
You mean you needed more training after college?
Wait, what?
What?
College prepared me for everything. I didn't need to learn anything.
That's crazy, right? So first point, the learning never stops, right? And I know that you saw a stage show. It was Paul's stage show, right? So our trainer, Paul Ramsey, and I just knocked your socks off and you were hooked, right?
It was freshman year, yeah. And it's funny thinking back, 5-6 years ago when I saw that show as a freshman, to think now that I'm doing those shows, traveling around the country, like it just still blows my mind. If you told me back then, hey, you're going to be doing this in several years, I'm like, get off the drugs you're on. So like that's not happening.
And Zach, how old are you now?
I just turned 24 last month.
And you graduated a year and a half ago.
Last May.
Yeah. And so at that point, so you graduated and then came right to training in New Hampshire.
Same day, literally cap and gown, commencement that morning. That night we met, started the class, and went from there. I didn't waste any time.
That's dedication. So you showed up, did this training. I think you and I both had some amazing realizations there. Started putting a lot of pieces together. And then very quickly you went out and just started doing it, right? You went out on the street. And what I love about you, I think my favorite thing is there's no failure. There's no fear of failure.
Absolutely.
Like you just walk up to people and what goes out on YouTube, right? We'll talk about your YouTube success in a minute, but what goes out on YouTube is you like crushing it. And what people don't see is all the like, oh, hey, get away from me. No, I don't want to do this, right? There's like,
it's not entertaining. Who's going to watch this?
But it's so ingrained in us to fear rejection. And for you to put out content like you do, you face rejection every single day. So give us some of your secrets and insights, how you can just approach people, ask to hypnotize them, and not care what happens.
Well, first I will say, nobody's going to watch the videos of me getting rejected. I did have a video of me getting rejected. I intentionally put on YouTube. So you can see me failing and getting rejected if you'd like. It's out there. Vulnerability, authenticity is the currency of the internet. So even though I don't post my failures regularly because people want to see the successes, but there is a video of me failing out there. So check it out. But to answer your question, to me, I don't see myself as failure being an option. To me, the way I frame failure in my own mind is I never fail if I learn something.
Right.
And I always learn something from every interaction, every single no from people being not interested or people wanting to be hypnotized and I fail and I don't hypnotize them well. So many hypnotists, they get caught up in this misconception of, oh, you didn't get hypnotized, it's your fault. You weren't open enough. I'm a great hypnotist. I'm amazing at what I do. But sometimes the challenge can be, yes, that can be the case where you could do everything right and then they still don't get hypnotized. You could do everything wrong and they still might get hypnotized because they're so open to the experience. But taking that full responsibility and saying, all right, even if they were a great subject or a horrible subject, what could I do better next time? And even though the failure is not as fun, right? It's awesome when it goes great. They're an awesome subject and they're open to it. They respond well to suggestions. It's entertaining. It's awesome. When they fail, it's not as fun, but I've learned so much more from that. If it went right every time, I wouldn't grow. I wouldn't get better. But for me, because that growth is such a priority, like you said, learning never stops. How can I not learn if I'm not put in those situations where I have the potential to fail, the potential to get rejected? And the success rate goes up the more that I fail. So the more I'm in that situation, the more I just continue to improve and get better towards now, a year and a half later, right? I'm already at this level because I'm not afraid of that failure and learning from those rejections.
So if anybody's listening that's just getting out of college and you're like not sure what to do, or maybe you have this passion and you're not sure if you should go after it, I think the key that Zach's saying is the training never stops. We're always learning. I know him and I are like kindred spirits in that, right? You're just like me. We're always learning. And there's no failure. Just keep going. And I know, like, let's talk about on your journey, you had this goal and this vision for yourself. And I'm sure everybody in your life was just bending over backwards to help make this happen for you, right?
Right. I thought, hey, it's a total realistic possibility to be a hypnotist when you graduate. You should definitely pursue that and not take advantage of the college education you had. Because I mean, you need to be in college to be a hypnotist.
So you go 4 years to college, you come out, and you're like, I don't think I want to work. I'm going to just go around, walk the streets, hypnotize people, video it, and put it on YouTube. And
here I am.
And hopefully someday it works out, right?
Hopefully someday. Well, it's that, catch-22 when you get started in anything, whether it's in hypnosis or job world, whatever it is. You're not going to get hired until you have experience. But how do you get that experience unless you get hired? And so for me, as I started getting into doing stage shows and performing and entertaining, it was that, well, who's going to hire me unless they can see that I know what I'm doing versus, hey, I'm just a young kid that graduated and now you should pay me lots of money to come perform. So my strategy was, all right, well, I'll start doing it on the streets, doing it for free, right? Providing that value. Content is king, right? As the internet says, being able to go out and produce value, produce content, hypnotize people on the streets and in these more challenging environments, right? Yes. Not only was it producing content, but it was forcing me to grow and get better, where if I am going up to a group of 3 people on the street and I have to hypnotize one of them, when I go from 3 to 300, I can do it in my sleep because I've done it in the more challenging situations on the street. So for me, yes, financially, it was not making a lot of money initially, but now to the point where I have all this content on YouTube, I have all this social proof, and I have gotten my name out there and started booking these shows all around the country without ever showcasing at a NACA or getting into these big groups or getting my name out there that much. But the internet is where people find how good you are. And so that my content being out there has now enabled me to do what I'm doing. And as I continue to do these shows, now that I'm getting my foot in the door because of this content, doing these great shows, killing it, right? The show we had this weekend.
Those
we need you to go, not come back next year, but come back later this year because it was that good. So now as I get my foot in the door through the content online, I can show I know what I'm doing, and then I get my foot in the door enough to say, yeah, I got it, and then I can just keep going up from there.
Well, and I remember talking to you as you were starting to release content, and I remember thinking, and this is the way I remember telling you anyway, I was like, Zach, just keep going. Like, keep producing content. Like, it's all going to click. And I know not everyone in your life was telling you that, right? And I know you didn't really have any doubts. You were like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make it.
There's only one option. It was this or nothing, right?
And then we talked about earlier today, it only takes one person to pick you up, one video, like one, I would say one conversation to change something. And for you, you're out on the beach, making yourself invisible, forgetting people's names, turning sand into money, like doing all these crazy things. And one of those videos picked up. So tell us about that on YouTube.
Yeah, so I was out in California for a couple weeks earlier this year.
I was with you.
You were?
Yeah,
we were there. Tony Robbins, UPW, Tony Robbins fan, what's up? Fan. Speaking is great, right? After UPW, I went out to Venice Beach. From New Hampshire, small town, right? It snows half the year.
Yeah.
March is not a good time, or any of the previous months before that, to be on the beach. So going to California, of course, is like, yes, the beach, must go out, film hypnosis. And so I did, and filmed a really great video. It was a lot of fun and had some great reactions, put it up on YouTube. And it started gaining a little bit of traction, more so than my other videos, after the first week or two. And after the first week, it was at maybe 8,000 views, which I was like, hey, that's pretty solid. And 2 weeks later, it was about 20,000. I was like, all right. And then 2.5 weeks later, it was at close to 1 million views. Like, it just, YouTube decided it was doing well and people were watching it, so just continued to push it out to more and more people. And most people say, oh, somebody must have shared your video, somebody must have pushed it out. But through the social media algorithms, if a video gets good engagement, the platforms continue to push it out until they see it not getting more engagement. So the more YouTube pushed it, the more people watched it, and they kept pushing it to the point where it was at a point where it got like 1 million views in a day because of how much YouTube was promoting it, because people were watching it. So
and even that engagement, how many people that comment on your videos are saying this is fake, you have actors?
So many that the next video I filmed was, hey, this is what hypnosis is about. Hypnosis is real. It's not fake. Like, just to, not that I let the haters get to me, but just to be honest about the process of, most people are like, oh, they'll never respond to them. Like, yeah, maybe it is fake and they won't know. But like, look, like, here's the authentic part. It's not magic. It's not like I'm mind controlling people.
Yeah.
Here's the process. Here's how it really works. Here's what's really going on. This thing that happened was real, but no, it doesn't happen to everybody, because if they're not open to it, then that's not the experience.
So for everybody listening, really, like, this doesn't have anything to do with hypnosis. This is Zach having a dream, going after it despite what anybody said, doing it for free for a while, keeping his head down, mastering his craft, facing rejection every day on the streets, having success in facing rejection, and then one day having that like piece of success that got you an agent, that got you on stages, and then you trained so much at that point and mastered your craft that when you go step on stage as a nobody, people are like, jaws are hitting the floor.
Yeah.
Right?
And let me add too that the YouTube video that did really well, so the one on Venice Beach that went viral, that was like my 50th something video.
Yeah.
So most people go into it expecting, my first video is going to go viral, or the first couple videos are going to go viral. But you don't do this because you're trying to go viral. You do it because you love it.
Yeah.
Because you honor the process, and it's about growth, and it's about getting better and being able to provide good content for people. Not because you want to go viral, because look, it's very rare to go viral on one of your first couple videos. And if that's your goal, you're going to quit, you're going to get burned out, and you're going to fail. But for me, because I can't fail, I don't care if none of them go viral. I'm winning, I'm growing because I'm getting better, I'm putting out good content, and eventually 50 videos later, one of them finally did, and that's what helped me to get the agent and get on more stages and get around the country, get on the tour I have now. But it was that consistency of saying, I don't care if it goes viral. I'm doing it because I love it. I'm doing it because I get better, because this is the process that I'm honoring, and eventually it happens. And I'm on that path.
And it's the same thing with me in this podcast, right? A couple of weeks ago on one of my episodes, I said something about, I wonder if anyone listens. And I got a text message the other day from someone that was like, I just listened to 8 episodes in a row and I love it. And for me, like, I get to interview guys like you, not always face to face, but I get to interview world-class performers, world-class experts, thought leaders in personal development, spirituality, meditation, real estate, all these amazing people. And I love doing it. And if nobody listened, I would get enough out of it that I would still do it.
Yeah.
And so how many of you listeners are doing something that you would do no matter what? Like,
exactly.
And if you're in that space and you just love it and you're obsessed, you're positioning yourself for that like one video to take off, right?
See, so many people position themselves for what they think they want out of it, right? The fame, the money, the success, the views, whatever it is. That's not always achievable right away because it's about the process.
Yeah.
Right? There's a quote that says, when you're climbing a mountain, reaching the summit is miserable. Climbing the mountain's invigorating. It's the process that we should be honoring, the process we should be enjoying.
Yeah.
Most people are after that summit and hate themselves during the process because it's not what they enjoy doing. It's not what they like. They're just about it for the end goal. And then they get the end goal and they enjoy it for a day or maybe a week and realize, okay, that was it. What's next?
So, and what you and I do as hypnotists, and I do this as a coach a lot, is I'll take what somebody thinks they're going to get out of that end result, and I'll just create that emotion within them right now.
We're in the process. Yeah.
Like if I think, oh, once I get fame, once I get money, I'm going to be happy. Well, just take that feeling, put it into you right now, early in the process. And now I practice this. So I feel rich and famous every day,
right.
And it's like, and I have fun with it. And when I hit that goal, it's just going to be another day of fulfillment because I live in that fulfillment.
You just keep going to the next bigger and best thing, right?
Yeah.
You reach the peak and then you find another peak that's above that. So, comparison is a deadly game. There's no winning comparison because there's always going to be somebody better. There's always going to be somebody worse.
Yeah.
And so you'll either, let it get to your head or let it get to your heart. Either way, it's not a good thing. But if you focus on you, and success is not what you've done compared to what everyone else is doing. It's what you've done compared to what you're capable of doing. And so if you can get in that mindset of, this is my mission, this is my driver, this is my goal, I'm going to make it happen. I don't care what the other guy's doing. I don't care keeping up with the Joneses. I'm keeping up with me and my goal and my passion, my ability. You'll get there.
And I imagine that everyone listening to this knows that, right? Like,
yeah, they know it.
Comparison is the thief of joy. Like, we know that, but it's a process and a practice
You gotta live it,
to feel it, right? To feel like it would be easy for me to go to your show and be like, I'm jealous of Zach, right? And be like, oh, I'm not on the same level in that area. And I instead, I'm like super happy for you because we're on different paths, right? And like my stuff's coming together at the right and perfect pace, and I'm super stoked about my content, and it's different than yours.
Yeah.
But watching you's also inspired me in many ways to step up my game. And again, that's why it's so important to hang out with people that are on a similar path that are just bound for growth. So I want to talk about your show a little bit.
Okay.
Because you have it's a clean show. It's hilarious. There's so many messages within it. What inspired you to go out and change lives with an entertaining show?
Again, we could have a whole podcast just on that one question. But for me, day one, since becoming a hypnotist, my website was the Impact Entertainer. It still is.
Yeah.
For me, that's my goal of not just entertaining and helping people to have a good time, but doing it in a way that actually is inspiring, impacting people, helping them to know that they can use the power of their mind to create a change in their life. And also something with me entertaining and fun, right? So many hypnotists, this is one of my pet peeves of the community, is that a lot of stage hypnotists feel the need to embarrass somebody else to entertain them, right? It's like the comedian that has to roast the guy sitting in the front stage to get the audience to laugh.
Right.
It's like, you got to get people to laugh with you and not at somebody else. So for me, making people to dance like a chicken or think their friend is a stripper pole or like just these dumb, stupid things that other hypnotists do, I'm never about that. I want people to be entertained and have fun, of course, but do it in a way that's uplifting and people enjoy the process. And the ones being hypnotized are actually having even more fun than the ones watching it. So I do things, right, like having them think they forgot their own name. And what, this is kind of a cool, I've never had this happen. Or think that I became invisible and they're almost living in this twilight zone of like, what is happening? This is so cool, but weird and scary at the same time. Or one of my favorite ones is having them think that I suddenly became their favorite celebrity. And to them, it's like they're living in a dream, right?
Yeah.
They get to meet this person they've always wanted to meet. The audience, it's hilarious because, they think that guy's Beyonce or whoever it is they see me as, right? But to that person experiencing it, they're having a really awesome time. And the people after the show, they always come up to me, that was so much fun. That was so cool. Like, I almost want to do that again.
Yeah.
Because it's about transcending just, I'm going to entertain and do whatever it takes to make myself look good. No, I can make them look good in the process of entertaining and transforming lives. And one of the things I do at every show, which I love doing, is I do this fun entertaining things like celebrity, visibility, and all the cool things. But I like to do something that's a little bit more transformative. So I'll have, ask the people that are hypnotized up front, how many of you are nervous about public speaking or speaking in front of a crowd? And I'll get someone that's more shy or doesn't like doing it or is less confident. And because they're in a hypnotized state, I'll simply just hypnotize them to be great at public speaking. And I'll let them do it before I give them the suggestion or give them the change to show the before and after, right? So, you're nervous about doing it? Well, just go for it. Do your best. And I'll go up there. Okay, hi guys, this is me. And do whatever I do. Give them that suggestion just like that. Hey guys, how's it going? Like, this is what I'm going to talk about. This is what I'm sharing with you all. Change their mindset in a moment. So for me to be able to use hypnosis in that way to show, we can create these entertaining, fun experiences. But at the end of the day, it's about creating a belief. You can create a belief that something fun and entertaining is happening, or you can create a belief that will serve you and help you to change your life, whether it's public speaking, confidence, decrease anxiety, stress, whatever it is. Our minds are that powerful. And it's not that I have the powers and it's like, hey, look at me, and it's about my ego and what I can do to you.
Right.
It's like, hey, actually, how can I help you to tap into the power of your mind that you've always had, but now we're just discovering how you can learn.
So two things from that. One is the biggest fear that people have is what? Public speaking. So you snap your fingers and somebody's a public speaker and they're like super confident.
Right.
So it shows the power of that. And the other thing is, where was I going with this, Zach? All right, that one's going to come to me. We're going to come back to that.
All right. What if it came back to you right now?
So I want to talk about selfishly, one of the favorite things that I see in your show is you do this thing where when you're facing them, the participants, they're serious. And then when you turn your back to them, they start laughing. I think it's the funniest thing ever. And I think that's such a good demonstration of how fast we can change our emotions. Like, emotions are the quality of our life. Emotions are what propel us to take action. The emotions we feel in any moment is our perspective on the world. And so to be able to change that, you're showing everybody, hey, those of you living in anxiety, depression, whatever you call those things,
states,
like by just Zach turning his back, that's gone, completely gone.
Yeah. And I do it on one sense, to show that power of you can change your emotion like that. But also, as people are getting into the show, wondering, all right, well, are these actors? Are these people just faking it? What are they doing? It's hard to fake genuine laughter, right? Like, you can fake, pretend to laugh. But when people are like dying laughing over just the fact that my back is to them, and then I turn around and they go from dying laughing to just straight face like that.
There's no like giggles afterwards,
no,
to hold it back. Like, they're dead serious.
There are videos on YouTube. Check it out. Like, watch people just like that, shifting from hysterical to stone face. Right? Yeah. And you're either a professional actor, but these are not professional actors. They're college students that just showed up for their freshman orientation week and are now in the state where they're suddenly able to have this skill that a professional actor even struggles to do. Like, they're like that. Like, our emotions are that powerful. Our mind is that strong.
Yes.
We can tap into changing our beliefs. Not like we change them, but we can change them like that.
So I got to close the loop that I opened.
Okay.
So we talked earlier this morning about we shouldn't choose beliefs that are true. We should choose beliefs that serve us. Right. So
when they serve them, they become true to us.
Yeah. So I'm running a marathon in a week, and I literally did my 4th training run today. By the time this comes out, you guys will know how I did it on it already. But and I decided that I'm an amazing marathon runner. I've never done one. I'm not even like training. We talked about my NLP and hypnosis strategies for running. And I just have this belief that I'm going to do amazing at it. And I don't know if that's true or not. I believe my body adapts. I believe all these empowering things, and I'm willing to put it to the test, because that belief is one that I've chosen, not based on whether it's true or not, based on whether it serves me.
Exactly.
And so that's something that I know you did. Like, in the beginning, you just believed I'm the world's greatest hypnotist, right? Or something similar. And you went out, and now the gap between that belief and reality is just closed.
Right. Most people, they get caught up in the idea of, what is a belief, and do I want to believe something that's not really true? But part of believing it is what makes it true.
Right.
Something is not a belief because, hold on, I'm messing up the quote. Let me make sure I get it right in my mind. But hold on, giving myself a space to, it's not a belief because it's true. It's true because we believe it. Okay, hold on. I'm right there, right? But see, failure, rejection, I'm failing live on air, on Facebook, on the podcast. Who cares?
Listen, Zach,
people are going to laugh at me about it, right? It's all good.
Zach, you're a lot smarter than you're acting like. I think you're just trying to confuse us so you can drop in empowering, empowering suggestions in there. So it's been amazing to watch your rise.
Wait, I got it.
Yeah.
Okay, there it is. Just because.
And it's gone.
And it's gone. No, why did you do that, right? No, just because you believe it does not make it true. It just means you believe it.
Yeah.
So many of us have beliefs that we hold on to and we think are true, right? How many of us have believed something that we were totally sold on this idea, and then we found out it wasn't true, and our whole world came crashing down because we thought this person loved us. We thought this was going to be the job we were going to get. We thought we had the skill set, and we didn't. But even though that wasn't true, it was true to us and our experience. And so that's the power of our beliefs. When we get so congruent with something, it becomes true to us. And even if it's not true in reality, right? If I have this belief that I'm going to be the best hypnotist, or you have the belief that you're going to run a marathon, even if it's not true yet, by our mind getting so focused on that belief, it finds a way to make it true. It finds a way to equip us with what we need to become the best hypnotist, to run a marathon, because our mind tends to find what it looks for. Right? If it looks for ways that can justify our beliefs that aren't serving us, like, I can never live up to my dreams. Our mind says, what? You want to never live up to your dreams? Let me find a way to make that happen. Versus, hey, I want to be the best at what I'm doing and change lives and change the world. Mind says, wait, you want to change the world? All right, well, let's figure out ways that you can make that happen. Right? Because that is the power of our beliefs and our mind, is that our mind just goes for what we give it. It takes it as a suggestion, our own beliefs, and it runs with it. So whether our beliefs are good or bad, true or false, doesn't matter. Our mind doesn't have that filter. It just takes it in and says, we'll go with it.
And that's one of the messages you left with these kids, right? And this audience was that whatever they look for, they're going to find.
Yeah.
Whatever they focus on, they're going to find. And more importantly, maybe, is they're going to feel.
Yeah.
And it's what you feel that becomes your reality.
Exactly.
Yeah. So amazing. There was one other thing. Oh, about the show. So Zach does this little bit where he turns them into bodybuilders, and instantly, right? Like I teach body language, and so to see, you're the world's strongest bodybuilder, and these kids just, their chests go out, their head goes up, their shoulders go back. Instantly, their posture, their physiology changes because they have a new belief. And so to see that suggestion, Zach didn't say stand up taller and put your chest out. He said you're the world's strongest bodybuilder. And so what I teach is that we can shift into that posture, and then the belief will change also.
Yeah.
So it goes both ways. And so to see that, so they get into this posture, they believe they're strong. I mean, to see these guys strut around on stage,
And they're doing all the poses.
they're posing. There was almost a fight that broke out. And then you give a suggestion that this little folding aluminum chair was the heaviest thing in the world and nobody could lift it.
Yeah.
And so they have this belief about themselves, and now they have a belief about the chair. And so they strut up to it and they go to lift it. And there's a video that I'm sure you're releasing soon if you haven't.
They'll see it by the time.
Of this really strong kid giving everything he has to lift his chair.
You can see the look in his face. It's just pure, and he just gets nothing. And the chair doesn't move at all.
He can't do it. And it's such a metaphor for how we hypnotize ourselves. Right? With a suggestion from a guy on stage, this kid can't lift a 5-pound chair. Yeah. And we have suggestions from our parents, from our teachers, from our siblings, everyone around us that says, oh, you can do this and you can't do that. And we're hypnotized. And to demonstrate, like, that's only a phrase that somebody said that now you've taken in, and it's limited you up until now, right? It almost like it breaks the chains that have been holding us back.
Yeah.
So talk about like that bit a little bit and what you want to get across with that.
And let me highlight an important part of knowing that, people thinking, oh, this guy can't lift the chair. Of course he can lift the chair, right? It's not like I just snap my fingers and now turn it into lead. I'm not an alchemist, right? But through that belief being that, not yet. You never know, right? Maybe when I decide to have that belief. But because of that belief was there in his mind of this chair is so strong, he couldn't lift it. Now, if at any point he decided to snap out of that belief or snap out of the hypnosis, because it's not mind control. It's not like I'm putting you in a state where you're lose control and whatever I say is your reality and you're helpless. Now, these people in the shows are they trust me enough to allow themselves to go into that state where the suggestions I give become real. But let's say like the fire alarm goes off in the middle of the show, they all pull themselves out of it because their mind says, wait a minute, this is more important. Right? Because these kids are having fun and they're in the show, they're in the process. It's not that they're faking it. They're just in such a state in that moment that the beliefs I give them feel real. But if there's anything that tells them, wait a minute, I shouldn't be doing this, then it pulls them out. But to highlight how that works in our life, right, is, you're thinking you can't lift up a chair. You're so in that state. People that don't get hypnotized are not because they can't be hypnotized. Everybody can be. Our minds are all work the same way. It's the people that get in their own heads. They're overanalyzing, they're overthinking, they're in their own mind, they're questioning their own beliefs. Which
true for life, right?
So true for life, which on one hand is a good thing, which I'll touch on in a moment. You want to be able to question the beliefs that come in, because if it's not serving you, why would you keep it? But when it comes to being hypnotized, opening yourself up to the process, it's being able to have that trust and openness to the experience of, in this moment, I'm not going to question my beliefs. I'm just going to totally accept whatever comes in, such to the point where you laugh, you think I'm invisible, you can't lift the chair, whatever it is. So in order to change our life, we have to get to this point where we're questioning our beliefs. And hypnosis show that's not a good place to be, because then you're in your mind and not in the experience and nothing happens. But in our everyday life, we want to be questioning our belief. I can't lift this chair. Well, wait a minute. Why can't I lift this chair? Is it because my parents told me, because my friends told me, because of what the president says, what the media says, this belief is true? Or let me ask myself, what would be a better belief to have? That maybe I can lift this chair. And just like in that moment, if the kid decided to snap himself out of hypnosis and say, I don't like this is weird, something wasn't safe was happening, and decide for whatever reason to pull it out, he could lift that chair. It's not like I'm taking the strength out of his body. It's I'm giving him a belief that actually creates the experience that takes the strength out of his body. But at any time he gives himself a new belief, he has a new experience. So for us in our day-to-day life, if we want to change our life, part of the hypnosis starts with the unhypnosis. It's getting rid of the old beliefs that are there and are not serving us, and questioning what's already in our minds and who put it there, and do we want it there to stay? Because we got to get rid of the garbage in order to bring in, the real value, the real treasure we want in our mind, these beliefs we want to serve us. You got to get rid of what you don't want in order to make room for what you do.
So I don't usually give homework or assignments or anything to the listeners, but I want to do one thing today. I want you guys to take a couple minutes and just write down what beliefs you have that you've carried with you forever that stop you from lifting that chair. Whatever that chair is in your life, if it's starting a business, if it's having that relationship, whatever belief is stopping you from lifting that chair, write it down and start to bring some awareness to it, and then decide what you would rather believe instead.
Yeah.
What you would rather have true for you, what you would rather feel through your whole body, and every cell of your body is true, rather than that, I can't lift this chair.
Yeah. And a big part of the way that our beliefs get developed is through our experience, right? It's like conditioning. Everyone knows Pavlov's dog, and you ring the bell and he salivates even though there's no food. He gets conditioned to the bell.
Yes.
We get conditioned to our own beliefs. We get conditioned through our experiences. So when we say, if we spend our whole lives not being able to lift a chair, and suddenly we want to say, well, I can lift a chair, our mind is going to go, well, wait a minute. We've never been able to lift a chair our whole life. What's going on?
Yeah.
But through that process of deciding to create a new belief, we also have to take action to create new experiences. That's why the law of attraction, the secret, all that is great, but people can get trapped in it because they think that's the only step, right? It's marketed as a secret. It's this one thing. That's one secret out of many secrets of ways to change your life. But if you get so caught up in, hey, I'm going to change my belief, I think I can, and you never do anything about it, nothing will happen. Your brain will go back to its old experiences versus you give yourself a new belief to have and you start forcing yourself to take experiences. So in my case, I wasn't a good hypnotist. When I went on doing street hypnosis, I'd never done it before. It's not like I had all this experience to go off of. I just decided to do it, to fail in the process. And through that failure grew to now I have the experience to back up the belief. And if I have a belief that says I'm not a good hypnotist, hey, actually now I have all this experience that creates a new belief. At first, it's not easy because I don't have that experience.
Right.
But forcing myself to create the experience anyways, right? You think you can't lift the chair, you have all this experience where you've never done it, you start trying anyways. You start getting your mind to the situation where it says, I can do this. And maybe you don't lift it at first, but maybe you budget. Or maybe next time you try it, you move it just a little bit or it comes an inch. And then the more you get in that process of reinforcing your belief with experiences, then sooner or later you're lifting that chair with one arm and it's no problem because you just conditioned your belief with experiences to align itself to now have that experience.
So I spent 6 days training with David Snyder in Las Vegas around hypnothoughts before and after. And he said one of the traits of the most successful people is relentlessness.
Yeah.
That no matter what happens,
Napoleon Hill called it a burning desire.
Yeah, and it's not stubbornness, right? Like it's not like that we just pound in the wall until we knock it over. We pound on the wall and then we try the door and then we try to go under, and we're just relentless trying to find a way, knowing that there is a way to make our dreams a reality. And
make a way, you make an excuse, right? Some people, they make excuses. Well, I failed once and I can't do it. No, you know how many times, right? Like J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter got rejected before it was published, or all these big celebrities that have to push through so much failure, so much rejection. These Hollywood superstars didn't just get there because they did, right? There's always a handful that, oh, my mom or dad was famous and so now I'm famous because of it. They inherited their fame. But for most of the people who made it, they didn't make it just because they got lucky. They made it because they put in the work. They created their own luck by just forcing themselves, by having that burning desire to say, this is going to happen. I don't care how many times I get rejected. I don't care how many times I fail. I'm going to keep at this until I do it. And they do.
Relentlessness. Yeah, absolutely. And so then your actions are congruent with your beliefs. And that's something that you've done, you've embodied. You've done an amazing job. And then, so the show's amazing. At the end of the show, we'll just wrap up with this. You wipe their memory, send them back to their seats, and then you have an anchor. So when you say the word good night, they all stand up in their chairs. They count down from 10 down to 1 as loud as they can. And as soon as they hit 1, their memory comes back.
So they're counting down the memory.
So they're like pissed off because you've wiped their memory, and they're like, why am I up on stage? This was stupid. Like I didn't get hypnotized. And everyone in the audience is just dying laughing, right? And so they go sit down, and then their faces just light up. And you give them such a dramatic experience.
Yeah. And funny story. So this past show, I actually didn't tell you this, but I got a DM on Instagram from one of the kids in my show. I didn't realize it at the time. Next morning, I'm answering some DMs, and I get this DM that says, I can't believe you tried to hypnotize us. I didn't know who it was from. I didn't know. I was okay, what is this message? I'm a hypnotist. Of course, that's what I do. And I wasn't sure if someone was kidding or joking or from the show that was genuinely upset. So I responded with a little bit of humor. I just said, well, it is what I do as a hypnotist, with the shrug emoji, just like, well, I don't know, right? Yeah. And they respond saying, oh my gosh, I sent this when I thought I wasn't hypnotized because I thought it didn't work. And my friend said, you should DM him on Instagram and tell him it didn't work. So she literally did. And it's like, you fail, you suck. Well, you can't believe you tried to do this. It didn't work. And of course, she's like, oh my gosh, I had so much fun. Thank you. It was an amazing show. But the belief was that strong. She literally sends me a message and is like, what? I can't believe you tried to do this. So another message is that you can face criticism even though what you're doing is working, right? Like what you did obviously worked. It worked so well that she forgot about it. And she texted you to criticize you, not even knowing it was reality. So
take criticism with a grain of salt and don't take it personally, right? That's another great message there. I think that wraps up. Is there anything else you want to share? And we'll get to your how to find you and everything.
Let me throw one final thing about criticism, because you mentioned it. And for so many people, that's one of the things that holds them back, right? The fear of judgment, fear of rejection, fear of criticism. But one of the things I've learned, right? We talk about everybody comments fake, or this isn't real, or this is stupid, or what are you doing? People make fun of this lame hypnosis shirt you're wearing, right? One of the things I've learned is that you never get any criticism for anyone who's doing better than you.
Yeah.
Right? And you know how many videos that people have filmed that make fun of me on YouTube? None. Right? It's because they feel so insecure about what they have that they got to tear somebody else down to make them feel better.
So give your analogy, your metaphor for the wall.
The metaphor, many people have used it. It's not mine personally.
It's yours now. I believe it's yours
now. Right, there we go. It's his belief. But it's the idea there are two ways to have the tallest tower. Right? One way is to put in the work and the hustle and the sweat and the tears to build your tower really tall, be one you can be proud of, or you can tear down somebody else's, to have the illusion of your tower being taller. One of them's a heck of a lot easier to do, which is why so many people do it.
Mm-hmm.
And really, it's just an insecurity about their own tower. It's an insecurity of what they have, so they have the need to put somebody else down to make them feel better. But when you realize that all insecurity, all criticism is really just jealousy. They hate us because
it's flattering, right?
It's flattering.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I'm so flattered that you enjoy what I do enough that you feel the need to criticize me to make yourself feel better about you, right? And I don't give them a hard time.
Sure,
I just shrug it off and I don't respond to them, right? Because that's what they want, is the attention of, they want to know it's getting to you, but it doesn't. If anything, it fuels me and says, all right, well, thank you. There are this many people that like what I'm doing enough that they feel the need to get attention through what I'm doing. So when you reframe criticism as, there's no criticism, only flattery, because the people that are criticizing you are actually jealous of what you have, and they just got to tear you down to make themselves feel better about the little they do have. You don't have to fear it, because anyone that hates me is really just because they like me. And so you could use that rejection, that criticism, to fuel you even further. Say, you know what? They hate us because they ain't us. I'm going to keep going. And if they want to put in the work themselves, they can. But if they want to keep being the armchair fan that always just, coaches from the couch eating the potato chips, like, I would have done it better if I was a coach. Get off your butt, you lazy jerk. Get out there and play the game and see if you're talking.
So I've done this thing when I'm talking to groups of realtors or coaching clients, where I have them face rejection and I frame it into a hilarious thing. And then I anchor that feeling, so that anytime they get rejected, it's like they hear it in Mickey Mouse's voice, and they see as a clown on a unicycle rejecting them. And in that sense, it's funny.
Yeah.
Right. I'm like, now imagine getting rejected in the future, and notice how funny that feels.
Yeah.
And pretty soon, you have this feeling of rejection is actually funny when you put a little strategy to just knowing that, right?
Because our mind, it either moves away from pain or towards pleasure.
Yes.
And the reason we fear rejection is because we feel the pain that will come with it. But if we take out all that pain, either one thinking that it's funny or ridiculous, or we reframe it and say it's actually flattery and it's not pain, then there's no pain in rejection. There's nothing to be afraid of. And so who cares if I get rejected, because there's nothing bad about it. I just keep doing it and keep getting rejected until I succeed.
And it's all made up anyway, right?
It is,
so just make it up the way you want it. I think that's a great message. So Zach, you've inspired my audience here, and now they're going to be your audience because your content is amazing. So where can they find you?
So you can find me, I mentioned my website, Impact Entertainer, but here's the links to all my social. My last name is obscure enough, Pincince, French-Canadian last name, that all my social media is the same. So
Pincince?
Pincince, yep. So Zach, Z-A-C-H. You put Zach Pan, or you can look at Hypnotist Zach, you'll find me. But I'm on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. I joined TikTok a couple weeks ago.
So what's going on with TikTok? How's your account doing?
TikTok is funny. I joined it 2 weeks ago, started putting up content. I'm at 120,000 followers right now after 2 weeks.
120,000. So you texted me, you're like, bro, you got to check out TikTok. It's the new thing. And I looked at it and I'm like, I never even heard of it. And then I look at you and I'm like, 100-some thousand, millions of views. And I'm like, what?
It just happens.
You are such a superstar.
Today, that's where the energy is, right? And who knows, maybe it'll be the next Facebook. It'll be around forever. Maybe it'll be like Vine. It'll die out a year later.
Yeah.
No one will care. But the important thing is that what's happening now. So many people won't get on it because they're like, oh, it's just a fad. It's, who cares? Whatever. You know how many people that got on Vine that are now these huge YouTubers or celebrities? Vine doesn't exist anymore. That platform is dead. But they carried that fan base. They carried that trajectory and that momentum from this platform that no longer exists into what they're doing now, right? I've already gotten people that have come from TikTok over to my Instagram or to my YouTube saying, I've been binge watching all your videos. It's amazing. I found you through TikTok, but that's so cool. And the more I continue to put content out there, grow my fan base there bigger and bigger, Who knows? It might die in a year. Who cares? But through getting the energy and tapping into that momentum now, yeah, a year later when that platform's dead, guess what? I have all these thousands of people that came to me from this platform. Even though that platform no longer exists, they follow me out of that platform to wherever the next big, the next Snapchat, TikTok, whatever the big thing's going to be, right? So who cares if it's going to be dead or if it's dying or if it's a fad? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Go where the momentum and the energy and the engagement is now, because I'm telling you, 100,000 followers in 2 weeks.
It's impressive. So
that's not going to happen for everybody, but knowing that if I can get that,
don't put that belief out there.
Just kidding. It's gonna happen for you.
It can happen for everybody,
right?
So
catch your beat, right? I'm not perfect.
So if you want to watch Zach to learn what he's doing, go check him out on. I think YouTube's probably the best place, right?
Instagram's the one where I engage with people the most.
Sure.
So if you send me a DM, I'll respond to you on Instagram.
And if you just want to be entertained, I think that's
entertaining YouTube, TikTok.
And then you also have a course on confidence coming out. And if anyone is qualified to teach on confidence, it would be Zach. So where can they find that course?
So you can find my course, confidenceguy.com is the URL. Somehow that was available to purchase, so I hopped right on that. And confidenceguy.com will send you to the info for my course, and check it out and help you get to this level of professional hypnotist confidence.
Well, Zach, it's been a pleasure training with you. I know you and I, like, you've recommended books to me. I've recommended books to you. Like, if I have questions, you know, you're always someone that I call, and we go back and forth and have amazing interactions, and then watching you just overcome things and just be so certain on your path and the level of success that you're getting. It's been super inspirational for me, and I know everyone around us. So I'm super glad that you came and I got to see your show this week. That was probably one of the highlights of my entire life.
Oh, wow, thank you.
That's some amazing highlights. No, it was. I
prefer that over the criticism, but it's all flattery.
Yeah, no, it was really good. So I'm glad to have you here hanging out with me. And I think with that, anything else you want to add?
Just be great. Just remember that the only person you're destined to become is the person you decide to be. So who will you decide to be?
Boom. Drop the mic. Drop the mic. All right. Signing off. Thanks, guys.
All right. Peace, guys.